What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. Man, I honestly don't know how to start this video out. I mean, if you've clicked on the video, you've seen the title, you know what we're already talking about. And no, it's not a clickbait video, guys. As much as, some of you guys might think, there's no way this guy is talking about selling his 2024 Mustang GT after only 10 months, but you'd be wrong. That's exactly what we're gonna be talking about today, guys. I wanna go over my thought process on this whole crazy thing that I'm considering right now. And I want you guys to know, first off, that this hasn't been a decision that I've considered lightly. Like, I've been thinking about this for some time. I didn't necessarily express it on my YouTube channel, but I have been going back and forth with this for a while. And if you have been with the channel for a while, you might have known this. I did put out a few vlog videos saying what I like about the car, what I don't like about the car, and what I miss about the EcoBoost Mustang and my lighter kind of cars I've had before this one. And I think that's just kind of been weighing on me for a while. And so it's kind of got to this point where, I'm legitimately considering selling this car. We might get into something else that fits me a little better. But in this video, we will talk more about that at the end, but I wanna go over all the pluses, everything that I love about this car, because there is a lot, and no matter which way I go here, guys, if I do sell it, if I do move on to something else, I'm gonna miss the car for sure. They are great cars, and I love how many mods and things that you can do to these. It's a fun platform. That's just plain and simple. But then after the pros, I wanna get into some of the negatives, guys. Some of the stuff that I'm kind of struggling with here, kind of driving me to this decision. And then at the end, I'll kind of wrap it up and go through final thoughts here, what's to come on the channel, what's gonna be going forward, and what you can kind of expect. So let's dive in right away with the pluses. What's the first thing I really enjoy about the car? What the first thing I love, man? Just looking at it. It looks awesome. I love the way the S650s look. I know, it's subjective. People either love it, they don't love it. That's with anything. But to me, the S650 looks super aggressive, especially in person. And now, we have the Grabber Blue, obviously, with the gray RTR wheels. We got the RTR chin splitter, RTR rear spoiler there. And it looks really good. I do like the black badges as well. And, we've modified the car to kind of obviously my liking. And I really think it looks great, man. When I see it like this, when I turn around and look at it, I'm like, man, you're freaking nuts. What are you thinking about selling this car? It looks absolutely awesome from the outside. So there is that. That is definitely the number one thing that, I love looking at it. And it gets a lot of attention, which is good and bad. I've never got pulled over in the car yet, crossing my fingers, but I will say that, wherever you drive this thing, I mean, I just drove past in a parking structure, a little kid was walking with his dad, and he's like, whoa, like he freaked out, and it was kind of cool, that's what, kids look up to. I remember seeing Mustangs for the first time as a kid, and I'm like, wow, those cars are awesome. I wish I could own one day. And here we are, right? So anyways, that's number one, the looks. But what about number two? Number two has got to be the sound. The sound of the 5-liter, Coyote V8, man, you cannot beat the sound. I mean, the EcoBoost I had, that sound, I liked that sound while I had the car, and no comparison to the GT here in reality. The sound is phenomenal when you're just cruising, you're just getting on it lightly. That rumble, we have the MBRP catback exhaust on the car right now, and honestly, I think it's a perfect combination for value for money. It's not the active setup, and this setup we got, if you go back and watch my videos, we got this before anything else is really offered. There really wasn't much out there. And so I decided to do this MBRP for, the 18 through 23s, and I still love it, guys. I mean, there's some days that I do wish that I went with the active exhaust, because there's some mornings on the way to work and things that I'm like, throw it into quiet mode, just cruise, that would be super nice. So if we did end up keeping the car, I would definitely look into maybe an aftermarket active setup for the car, just to kind of fit your needs on a daily basis. But yeah, guys, let's start it up real quick. We'll let you hear it real quick. I know you've heard it before, but Yeah, pretty good. My mic's right here, so I gotta get close. We'll kill that for now, but yeah, the car sounds good. That's definitely one of the things I would miss if I do decide to sell this thing and move on to something else. I love the sound. Now, another thing I love about the car is the top end power. I mean, the thing hauls like a freight train past 5,000 RPMs. So when you are pushing this thing down a road, you have the room to like open it up and have fun with it. The thing is a blast. It is very fast and it gets you into, you know, triple digit speeds pretty dang quick. So the top end speed on the Coyote engines, man, they're nothing to mess with, especially with the 10 speed. So, you know, pretty cool that you can get that in a package like this for, you know, a base Mustang. I mean, it performs fantastic on the top end. It does leave a little bit to be desired though on the low end, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But honestly, guys, I think that the biggest thing that makes this hard for me, especially, is that, you know, this is my first brand new car, regardless of a Mustang or whatever. This is my first brand new car. Right now, it's got like 7,500 miles on it. I've had it for 10 months. You know, normally I wouldn't be even considering selling a new car at that. You know, burnout time for me in the car world is like 3 years normally. I'll keep a car like for 3 years, maybe longer, right? But this one, it's come much too soon. So, you know, love the looks, love the sound, love the top end power. The interior is nice. I like the technology in the car. I think that maybe the premium option, you know, it depends how much you want to spend, but the premium option would have been nice as far as the interior quality goes. But I think it's a good compromise going with the 301A package on these cars, which gives you, you know, the dual climate control, the heated seats, things like that. But now that we've gone over the pros, let's get into some of the reasons why I'm considering selling this car and getting into something else. And the first thing is jumping back to that power statement that I liked, right? I love the top end on this car, but the lack of torque down low on this on the GTs, man, it's just something that's really killing it for me. And I don't know, I might just be the odd one out here. I really think so. So like, again, take my opinion with a grain of salt because it's a fantastic car. And it might be the 315 gears that are in the back of this thing. If we would have went with a shorter ratio in the back, I think it would have been more responsive down low for sure. And that could be my fault for not optioning that, obviously, from the factory. But yeah, the lack of low-end torque, you know, going back to my EcoBoost days, right? I'm not going to compare the stock EcoBoost to this because the stock EcoBoost, you know, it was fun, but it really wasn't comparable in the sense of, like, this car is a lot more fun to me than my stock EcoBoost was. But when I, go from my E30 tuned, pro tuned EcoBoost to this car here, which would be closer in terms of torque and all that to this car, then it starts changing a little bit because the EcoBoost brought on its torque way lower in the RPM band and it would just hit hard. And so that's the thing, is before 4,500 RPMs, the car doesn't have that much pull to it. It doesn't have that much torque. It's enough for, getting around town, and it's plenty of power, but at the end of the day, the EcoBoost was definitely more fun to me, just stoplight to stoplight, around town, not going like balls to the wall, just having fun with the car. The EcoBoost torque came on super quick and just made for a fun experience. Might not have been faster per se, but it was, in my opinion, a little bit more fun. So the other thing, what's next? So lack of low-end torque. The other thing is the heavier feel of this car compared to what I've been in previous to this. Which previous to this, obviously, is the EcoBoost. So, the footprint of this car and my EcoBoost were probably pretty dang close, right? It's not any longer per se than the EcoBoost, I don't think. I don't have the exact measurements here, guys, but just going off of how it fits in the garage, I think it's about accurate. But it definitely feels heavier over the front end, which it is about 200 pounds or so heavier over the front than the EcoBoost variant that I had, which was 2019, I believe. So that heavier feel to the car added in with the lack of kind of low end torque, or the, you know, the lower low end torque, it just makes for the car kind of feeling a little luggy, like around town. Like, you know, from a stoplight, unless I romp on the car and just get that RPMs up into the top end, like it feels a little sluggish. And, you know, I like, you know, with the driving that I do, I like to have that low end torque. And that's just something, and a light kind of feeling front end to a car, something that I don't get here. Despite even the mods that I've done, the sway bars and things like that, it still feels heavy to me. Before this, before the EcoBoost, I had a GTI, which was a full like stage 3 setup. It was a KO4 turbo swapped GTI from APR, and that little thing was a freaking blast. It was a little rocket ship, and I had a ton of fun with that car. But it got old, you know. I sold it with 150,000 miles on it, stuff like that. But I do miss the lighter, more nimble feel of a car like that, or like the EcoBoost. So that's another thing that I'm kind of struggling with a little bit. And I would say that's probably the main thing, is the heavy feel and the lack of low-end torque. Now, a couple other pieces that have got me kind of thinking on this is honestly when I placed the order for this back in March of 2023, I was working fully remote, right? And this was like a car that I, you know, would put around maybe during the week after work, but I could avoid traffic for the most part. You know, I'd take it around, take it out on the weekends, have a ton of fun with it. That was my thought process, right? Make great, you know, make great videos the best I could. But my situation changed a bit, where now I'm working in the office more than I am working at home, which is not a big deal. However, I live near Atlanta. I don't live in the heart of Atlanta. I live like the outskirts there, but it's close. There's a lot of traffic on the way home from work especially. And so what I find is that, you know, I'll get to have a little fun on my way to work, but there's a lot of traffic, so I can't really open it up and feel the power it has, because it's all the way up on the top end of that RPM band. Then I come home from work, and it's stop and go traffic for 95% of my commute back, and then I pull it in the garage and I wait for the weekend, right? There's so much traffic here, guys, so it's tough for me, and it's weird to say, but it's kind of tough for me to you know, reach the potential on the top end of this car without, like, one, committing a felony, and two, like, you know, running into traffic, right? There's not a ton of space, if you will. And there's, you know, some people might not care about that, man. I mean, the looks of the car, the way it sounds, you know, that might be enough for most people out there of like, well, shit, I got all the power on tap if I want it, if the situation, you know, presents itself. And I'm that way to an extent, but I like to have that sporty, nimble feel, and I'm just not getting it out of this thing. And I thought I would, the more mods we kind of put on it, right? That's typically how it went for me with previous cars. So that's it. The MPG, I knew it wasn't going to be great. I mean, I'm getting like 18 right now, which is not terrible. So the MPG side of things, not a huge concern for me. Would it be nice to get better MPG? Yeah, but on E30 with the EcoBoost, I think I was getting like 22 MPG, which is better than 18, but it's not fantastic. So honestly, guys, those are kind of the reasons. And like I said, the heavy hitters are the low end torque, and then the heavier feel of the front end. And I just can't seem to remedy that. The car is heavy. I mean, it's no you know, secret that it's a heavier car. But when I look at it, I'm like, damn, it looks freaking good. Like, what are you thinking right now, right? But those are the reasons that I'm kind of considering this. Now, what's next? Well, I will say this. There's a car that I have in mind, and I found one that I'm gonna go look at. This might be a deal where we end up trading the car in. We might, you know, sell it if this doesn't work out, and look for something different that fits what I'm looking for now. That, like I said, my situation's changed a little bit. I need a better daily driver that's engaging, that's fun to drive, light, nimble, quick, all those things. And unfortunately, I just don't know if it is this car. As good, as cool as this thing looks, I just don't know if this is the right one for me in the long term. So That is crazy for me to say because I was so hyped about this car for so long. And like I said, if you own one of these guys, you know, don't let me talk you out of anything here, or if you're gonna buy one, don't let this be like, oh, well, you know, this guy on YouTube says not to buy one because, you know, it's slow or whatever. It's not slow, it's super fast. It's just the torque thing. Lack of low-end torque is the biggest thing for me. If you can live with that and you're good with ringing the thing out, I mean, you're gonna have a freaking blast in this car, man. Now, I do wanna say one last thing before I wrap this up. I know a lot of people are gonna go to the comments and they're probably gonna say, well, Tyler, it's an easy fix. You can just throw a $12,000 Whipple supercharger on it and then you get all the low-end torque you'd want, plus you make like, you know, 700 horsepower, 800 to the crank, whatever it is. And to that would be really cool, but it gets farther and farther away of what I want my channel to be about and what I need out of a daily driver, right? I don't personally need 800 horsepower to go to work and back stuck in traffic. I do, you know, would love the low end torque. I think that would frickin' fix my issue with that. If you can have the runway ahead of you to ring this thing out, it gets going pretty dang quick with the 10-speed, man. It's no joke. So I don't know if I would need any more horsepower. I think I would just love if that torque came in on the down, you know, the real early on in the RPM band is what I'm saying. So supercharger, I don't think would fix all of my like gripes, I guess, or what I'm looking for. I think I'd be hell of a lot of fun. But, you know, for a daily driver for me, I just don't think it's the solution. So that's kind of where I'm looking at here, guys. That's kind of what we're going after. That's what I'm going through right now. And I just wanted to let you guys know here. I know on the channel I've been a little bit more distant here with not uploading every week. I've been just trying to figure it out. I've been trying to figure this out, which way I want to go. I know a lot of you guys that follow the channel are Mustang people, you know. You guys got S650s, you might have S550s. Maybe some of you guys still have your EcoBoost models and you've been following since then. I appreciate everyone who watches my videos, guys. But I wanted to leave you guys with that. My pros, cons, what I'm feeling right now, and then what's to come. I'm not gonna say what the possible replacement for this car is just yet, because it's not a for sure thing that it's happening or not. But I will say, if it does, it's something I'm familiar with, in a sense, but that you've never seen on the channel before. So I will leave you guys with that. Guys, I hope you have a great day. This is where we're at, and I will catch you in the next video. The next one is gonna be pretty crazy, because it's either gonna be this car's still on the channel, and we're gonna try to make it, you know, fulfill my goals, or we're gonna be into something else. All right? But you guys have a great day. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.